Hey guys, it's me, Mr. 250, and welcome to Subnautica. So if you've been watching me for a while, I have shown this game off a few times over the past couple years, but I've been waiting until they finally fully released the game. And to my understanding, I think that was today. So, I'm going to make a little series out of it. I don't know how long this is going to be or how much we're going to cut out. I'll do my best to keep it interesting. Let's just say that. And I should say it's been quite a while since I've played it, so there's probably a number of updates that I'm going to have to get used to. So, we're going to do survival, because I don't feel like dying and never coming back. I've been pretty excited to play this, like, when it finally came out. It's been quite a few years that I've been following the early access, so quite excited. And I've not really paid attention to the past few updates, mostly because I wanted to kind of wait a while and get a more thorough experience. Also, I think like the last update before this one was like some pet, like you get a pet. I don't know. I don't know how much more depth that's going to bring to my game, so I decided just to keep waiting. And I did a short little stream at one point of the in-progress, I guess mid-game kind of thing. So maybe we'll see that again.
Launch in 3, 2, 1.
Kind of wince a little bit when that happens. Oh man, you like that dubstep? That's right, you do.
You have suffered minor head trauma. This is considered an optimal outcome. This PDA has now rebooted in emergency mode with one directive: to keep you alive on an alien world. Please refer to the databank for detailed survival advice. Good luck.
Alright. So I'm going to do a little bit of explaining. I'm going to start with this at the point that you've never seen this game before. I'm not going to maybe tell you everything, but just give you a brief rundown. So this is our inventory system. Use it obviously for inventory. There's blueprints for making things. There's crafting in this game. Beacons. I'm kind of learning this myself. Oh yeah, there is a photo system where you can take photos and like play them or put them on the walls or something. I think I have to do this to get this out of my face. Anyway, there is a system in here that basically it gives you basic information / flavor text for how all this stuff works. I'm probably not going to look into this too much because I know how most of these things work, but I might give like a brief idea of what's happening. So, thing about this game, in fact, let's take a step out so you can see what's going on. And this is new, I think, for me. So we are on an alien planet.
The Aurora suffered.
Alright, go on, talk.
Failure. Cause unknown. 0 human life signs detected.
Unknown alien planet, covered mostly with water. And, there's lots of nice little new animations in, like, the bottom left corner and the top. There's all these different UI things going on that weren't, like, a thing before. So, there's lots of cool things going on here. Alright, so, there's our storage container. It's got some flares, some water, and some pretty high-quality food. You can see at the bottom left, the red ones are health, the blue ones are water, and I believe the yellow ones are food. So we don't need to eat that yet. We're going to wait till we get pretty low. Oxygen is, of course, an important thing. This thing creates med kits. I'm going to try to keep one on me for the time being. In fact, actually, I should probably use that. And full health. Why does full health go to 101? That's a weird thing. Okay, anyway. This radio is damaged, we need a repair tool. The secondary system's damaged, we need a repair tool. I don't know if they ever updated this to do anything, but the radio is kind of a cool thing. Sorry, I got a lot to talk about. There's a lot in the game, so let's go dive in. And we got achievements. Alright. So this is the ocean. And we are in what's considered to be the safe shallows. It is relatively safe here. Relatively low chance of us dying. We can do stuff like...
New creature discovered.
Grab this dude here. He's got a little database log. We can read about him if we want to. But what we can do, we can use the fabricator and cook him. And this machine chemically cooks food, along with other things.
Small organisms, while disposing of the skeletal structure, bodily fluids, and internal organs, thus rendering them safe for human consumption.
Sort of an all-purpose machine, so if you see, this is going to give me food and water. So, not a bad place to start. Go out the floor pod. These are some unique animations, by the way. These are kind of cool. I hadn't seen these up until now. So there's lots of different life forms, and you can go around and collect them all. We're going to break this. Gets us some titanium. This metal salvage, which is just some wreckage from the ship, also contains titanium. We're gonna collect a few things, keeping in mind our oxygen level. You don't have a lot of it, and I think as of right now it goes down by 3, or it goes down by like 1 a second or something. It might be slightly higher than that.
Oxygen.
Yeah, and it gives me a warning when my oxygen gets low. So, as you might imagine, that ship is going to be one of our objectives. There's a number of objectives to go to. And there's a lot of different creatures, which we'll investigate more thoroughly in a bit. But for right now, we're going to mostly just use them for sustenance. So, resources. I can break down that metal salvage into titanium, like I was talking about. Normally this consumes power, but we're in a unique situation right here in this life pod, where we have solar cells built into here. Yeah, that one's gone down. Where these things will slowly recharge over time. So we can make a number of things. A waterproof locker. I never found those particularly useful. A mobile vehicle bay. We don't know how to make that, or these. We're going to have to do some research to get these things. Let's see. Standard O2 tank. That's a good place to start. And it looks like they took glass out of the recipe, which is not particularly like a hard thing to get, but it's not bad. So look at our oxygen. It's now gone from 45 to 75.
Print acquired.
High capacity O2 tank. That looks like something we can make in the future. We need silver ore, glass, and a standard O2 tank along with titanium to make that, so not going to make that for a little bit. Let me open up my inventory again. So you can see one of my slots here has an O2 tank in it now. And I know you used to be able to do this. I do want to test it really quick, because titanium's pretty cheap. Let me see if I can get even more oxygen if I make another one. No. Alright, and that just goes in here. See, it used to be a thing where you used to be able to just hold as many oxygen containers in your inventory as you can, and they all added up. It looks like they removed that for good reason, I'd say. I feel like that was a little cheesy. Just to be able to have tons and tons of oxygen if you just filled up your inventory full of it. So, now we've got 75 oxygen max. And that's a pretty good start. That'll allow us to dive deeper and do more stuff. These guys are cool. See how this rock is floating? Called floaters. So they stick to things and they can make them float. They're also very glitchy and have a good chance of breaking a hole in whatever structures you build. So, might not mess with them too much. Okay, so what we're going to do, because in order for us to do much, we need to be able to research things. And I need to figure out what I need to make that scanner. I need battery and titanium. Batteries are pretty easy if I remember right. Acid, mushroom, and copper ore, so let's work on that. There is a day-night cycle in the game. It's not particularly dangerous here, though it will make exploring a little bit more difficult. So we need 2 of these for our battery. And then we need some copper. And the best way I'm going to get copper is to look for more of these outcrops and get lucky. There we go.
Essential component of all powered equipment. Your probability of survival has just increased to unlikely, but plausible.
This AI in our PDA isn't exactly snarky all the time, but it is sometimes. Alright, so we can make a battery now. And it'll come fully charged if I remember right.
New blueprint acquired.
We acquired a blueprint for a high-capacity battery, which we'll make at some point, I'm sure. Alright, so now we can make a scanner.
The scanner can be used to synthesize blueprints from salvage technology and to record alien biological data.
It's pretty... we need it to get much of anywhere in this game. Self-scan.
Self-scan complete. Vital signs normal. Continuing to monitor.
You just keep doing it? Yep. I think it has a purpose within the game, like within the story. If I understand. Ooh, yeah, now it's dark. So anything that we go over that has this little circle-y pattern is something we can scan, and we can scan a lot of stuff. So let's just start with that. So this is going to give us a lot of flavor text, but it will give us a number of useful things. Including, like, research that we need. Oh, yeah.
Trend is consistent with damage to the Aurora's drive core, sustained during planet fall.
We'll look at all this stuff in a bit. I want to scan a couple things here. There's a rabbit ray. It's gonna be a little bit hard to chase after. You gotta get a bit of scan on these creatures, so some of the faster ones are harder to scan. Now, like I said, where we're currently at, we're not really in any danger being out here at night, but this is a thing that we might not do much in the future, is a lot of this night swimming, at least not without a little bit of defensive protection. They do make lots of weird noises, though. If you're afraid of, like, you know, the deep, deep ocean, like just way out in the middle of nowhere, this is not a good game for you. Also may need to turn down a few graphical settings because I'm noticing some slowdown. Not fun. Yeah, let me do that really quick because I'd hate to have this keep happening. Can we increase that a little bit? I'm sure that'll look better. And we can turn the stuff down a little bit. There was some setting for the water. Yeah, let's turn that off high. And that'll make this run a good bit better. Oh crap, oxygen. It is relatively safe, but... Relatively, I should say, but it is still a little bit creepy hearing these noises when it's this dark. There we go. It's gonna be hard to chase those guys down. They're pretty quick. They do make for good food, though. And I think they sleep at night, so you can kind of sneak up on them if you're careful. But they are usually quite fast. I want to grab one for food. Oh, and I lost it. There's one more creature I want to scan before I finish up scanning for a little bit. I saw it earlier, I didn't mention it. There he is. So these guys, I can't remember what they're called. I think they're supposed to be kind of reminiscent of manatees. And he looks a little creepier than he is. Honestly, they're barely dangerous. Gasopod. So they shoot out a bunch of little orbs. They explode. It's mostly a defense mechanism. They're like barely aggressive. In the sense that if they get too close to you, they'll try to attack you. But if you get hit with that, I think you get really hungry and you lose some health. Although, after getting out of it, your hunger comes back, I think. That used to happen. I don't know if all that still happens. But they're not too dangerous, and you can use them for some stuff as well. I'm going to get this out of my inventory, because there's like a 0% chance I'm going to use this. Also about to drown. Alright. So now that we're out of the water, let's look over... Okay, so we've got some blueprints. There's something else I wanted to look at too. Non-vegetarian. Yeah, so we can make water in a couple of ways. One is obviously if we cook food, we get a little bit of water, but that's not a lot. We can get a basic small amount of filtered water from those little air fish, bladderfish dudes. We can get more from disinfected water, which is also pretty easy to make. Power cell requires 2 batteries and silicone rubber. All this, we're going to make all this stuff later. Well, not all, but we're going to make some of this stuff later. We also probably want to get to work on making a habitat builder soon. Because that'll get us started on other things. In fact, I think survival knife and habitat builder is what we're going to go for next. And maybe some fins. Fins aren't a bad idea either. Yeah. Alright, so to make the survival knife we need silicone rubber and titanium. To make silicone rubber we need creepvine seed cluster. We'll go deal with that in the morning, because that's not a place I want to be at night. And databank, we're going to have lots of cool stuff. Lots of creatures, you got scattered wreckage. Just gives you mostly flavor text. But, I guess you would say this is the story as well, because the story is, mostly self-led. There's a few events that will happen along the way, but most of this is going to be self-led. At least, it used to be self-led. I can't say that anymore because I haven't played it in a while. So, if you want to read these, pause the game, and then just take a look at it. We get pictures of the fish. They tell us little bits about them, like how we use them. Like the bladderfish, for example, it's talking about it's able to filter air and seawater into its body cavity. And that tells you can get from it that it acts like a natural water filter, which is how we get water. It also allows you to make some kind of flotation device later, which you can get from that as well. So, lots of little flavor text. They're kind of cool. And all of these herbivores we can eat, pretty much. gasopod. That was that big manatee-looking thing. And the rabbit ray, which is apparently poisonous. Yeah, poisonous flesh. So you can't really eat it. Acid mushroom. Basically used to make batteries. Although I think you can hurt yourself with it if you cut them while you're near them, I think. All of these little things have no gameplay purpose. Other than... That one didn't have a picture. Other than, you know, just flavor text. Alright. Let's see if it's daytime yet. It is. Okay. So, we're gonna... Let's see. I got plenty of inventory space. We're gonna now go and try to find a kelp forest biome thing. I think you actually swim faster with nothing in your hand, if I remember right. So, this is safe shallows. You can tell it because it's mostly sandy and it's shallow. It doesn't go much deeper than like 40 or 50 meters down. But I can just see it at the very distance. You can start to see the kelp. And that is... I forget exactly what it's called. It's like the kelp forest biome or something like that. It's a good bit deeper. It's got a number of things we need. And a few things we don't want. Ah, there's one. I'm not going to mess with them yet. You'll find quite a couple of them. These are strange creatures. I believe they're called bone sharks, if I remember right. And they are hostile. So we're going to try not to mess with them yet. A few air bubbles. And get some scans. So this is creepvine.
Life on this planet grows in unusually distinct and diverse ecological biomes. Further study recommended.
We need this. Creepvine seed clusters. I'm gonna try to grab as many as I can. I said those bone shark creatures are hostile, but they're not. They have a pretty, like, short range. Yeah, these are big. They have pretty short range to their hostility. Oh. So, if we don't get too close to them, they shouldn't bother us. They're not, like, particularly dangerous. It's just, I don't know if I want to tangle with them yet. Let's just say that. Let's see if I can get a few more of these without getting chased. Crap, we're getting chased. I think. Or not. I thought we were. There's a few that are not as close to them. They usually stay towards the bottom, so you can kind of stay towards the top. Like the real-life ocean, to my understanding, the very deepest parts of the ocean generally don't have a lot of stuff near the surface. And that usually holds true in this game as well. Most of the interesting things in most of the areas are near the bottom. There's a few, key differences, but most of, like, the living creatures are near the bottom of the ocean. So anyway, so what I'm going to try to do with this series as we go on is, because it is a survival game at heart, there's going to be a lot of situations where I spend, X amount of time crafting things that we've already seen before. We're going to spend, a minute or 2 or 5 crossing a large section of ocean. So, while I'm going to show most of this at the beginning, as we go along, we may do more and more, like, segmented kind of stuff. More, edited stuff, if that makes sense. Let's make some silicone rubber. We need that for a few things, so we'll make 2. Alright. And we want to make some fins. They enhance swim speed by approximately 15%. Swimming faster is good.
The fabricator draws from available data to provide environment-appropriate equipment, using locally available materials. For your safety, this setting cannot be overridden.
Alright. Make us a survival knife.
Weapons were removed from standard survival blueprints following the massacre on Abraxas Prime. The knife remains the only exception.
That that text doesn't exactly follow exactly what's happening. Alright. So survival knife has a lot of purposes. This game, I have seen in the past, take this as you will, that the developers have not really put many weapons into the game. So it kind of makes the game come off a little bit strange, because it's a survival game, but everything you make, like, you have access to pretty powerful technology. You think you'd be able to make, like, a rudimentary spear gun or something, right? Most of the tools and weapons in the game are non-lethal. Most of, I should say. Or at least they are... It takes a lot more work to kill things. Like, you can't make a gun, like a standard gun. This knife is one of the few tools we can use to kill things as of right now. And you're not really supposed to kill things for the most part. So, this knife is probably going to last us a while, let's just say that. The knife is mostly used for survival stuff, like collecting things.
Seek fluid intake.
Yeah, I'm getting thirsty, I know. Alright, so next we need to build the habitat builder. That's going to require quite a few things we don't have right now. So we're going to have to do a bit more searching. But we're going to definitely want to make that, because that sort of opens us into being able to get out of this area and make better things. So need a wiring kit, computer chip, and battery. Now, battery is easy enough. We can make that pretty easy. Wiring kit requires 2 silver ore. We're going to have to go back into the creepvine forest, I think is actually what it's called. And computer chip requires some copper wire, more copper, some gold, which we're probably going to have to go even farther out for, and some table coral sample, which is absolutely everywhere. Let's drinks. Let's eat this. Oh, I switched. I mean, eat. Alright. Looks like you can go above 100 in terms of food and health.
Vital signs stabilizing.
Alright. That's a little bit of water. Not bad. Alright. So... And we also need to be on the lookout for, so we've seen, like, general wreckage. You know, these little bits of ship hull lying around. Oh yeah, I think I automatically equipped the flippers. I did, so we're going a bit faster. In fact, let me drop off the rest of those creepvine clusters, because I don't need to be having them hog up my inventory. Anyway. Oh, I was saying something and I totally forgot. Anyway, we're going to go back to the creepvine forest because I can get silver there. Now, it is a little bit dangerous, but this game is nothing but full of danger in many cases. We'll take that with us and put that away. I don't know if we're going to find the flare very useful, at least not for the time being. Very on fire right now. Oh, God. Oh, no, 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 no. Don't want that. Oh, I'm gonna die. Oh, okay. We're not dead. We're not dead. I forget what those creatures are called. We got a little bit too close to that. Let me see if I can scan it.
Caution. Continued degradation of the Aurora's drive core may result in a quantum detonation.
Oh, I might actually be able to take advantage of this.
To monitor.
Cave sulfur. We're going to need that for later. Really glad I grabbed some of that. Even though I did hurt myself slightly in the process. So, this is why there's a couple caves you may have seen around. We don't want to go in the caves right now. Not a good idea. Good way to die. But that cave sulfur is very useful because we're going to need that later for something. Let's see. Sulfur plant. So there's these explosive fish that I just dealt with. I was not in a good position to get away from him. Luckily, I didn't take too much damage. It's apparently a symbiotic relationship between them, the sulfur plants and the explosive fish in them. And they can respawn over time, so we don't really want to deal with that. But that sulfur is really good. And I guess we're going to have to hold on to it for now. We could make a floating container for storage, but I never do. We're going to build a base before long, and I don't see the need for it. But that sulfur is useful for making a repair tool, which we totally want to make later, because if you don't have a repair tool, you get stuck if you ever do anything dumb, like accidentally get... Nice copper ore. Accidentally put one of those floaters inside your base, and then it wrecks a hole in the wall. Alright. And if it starts to turn nighttime, we're going to leave this area. It's just too dangerous. In fact, we need some more air. Alright. So, you've seen these rocks over in the shallows area. They have copper and titanium, I believe is all you're going to get from them. These rocks over here have the potential... I thought I saw one. They have the potential to have silver in them, which is something we need right now. Alright, yeah. It's wanting me to do tutorial things.
Print acquired.
I think the tutorial things are going to stop before long. Oh, yeah. So, like, in the future, these are the kind of things that I'm probably going to cut out, is, like, searching for rocks. Because whenever you want to, like, make a, you know, a new thing, a lot of times you have to search for something. Titanium. There's another option we can go for, and I'm probably going to have to go to do it to get the gold anyway.
Oxygen.
We can go to another place and have the potential to get some silver and gold, but gotta go a bit farther, and I think it is starting to become nighttime, so we're gonna head back. Let me, it's probably a good point for the video to switch over anyway to the next video. So we're gonna make a video cut here. We'll come back to daytime. I'll probably make some water. And, yeah, we'll be back in a bit.